And so personally, I mean, you got to take some time and get off of this. Okay.
That is such great advice. I am so guilty of that. Yeah.
Well, and I'm guilty. Doom scroll all the time. In order to be on social media, you must engage with social media. It sucks because I hate it. Mm-hmm. And you find yourself like scrolling through all this stuff.
Get off the phone.
And like the messaging will change based on your search history of whatever you're looking for, right? Or, whatever is prevalent in the world right now. And so you could be served this stuff that has no purpose.
How's it going, everybody? This is Jason Ostrowski, and welcome to a new edition of the Everything Real Estate Podcast. As you can tell, we have made some changes recently. We are actually in the studio space now. And the good news is you will be able to watch this podcast now as well as listen to the audio. So we are modernizing our podcast, giving you more options as to how you access this podcast. And we hope that you will enjoy this new format moving forward. Of course, we thank you for your listenership and we thank you for your patience. I know that it's been a little while since we've released an episode, but we are back and ready to hit the ground running in 2026. So without further ado, let's get into the new and improved Everything Real Estate Podcast. Our guest today is absolutely killing it in real estate. Her production ranks her in the top 250 agents within the BHHS network worldwide, grossing approximately $35 million in GCI as a solo agent for 2025, and doing so in less than 10 years into the real estate business. She is super smart, super savvy, and super productive. Her name is Olyvia Salyer, and she's coming straight out of coastal Virginia and BHHS RW Towne Realty. She's here to share some great information on how to win 2026. So let's get right into the conversation with my guest, Olyvia Salyer. All right, so I'm here with Olyvia Salyer again today. We are finally making this happen. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's finally warming up a little here. I'm so excited to be on the pod and to share some fun knowledge with everybody.
Well, I'm glad that you could take some time away from shoveling to get into this with me today. So first question to you, if an agent listening today wanted to start 2026 strong, what are the first 3 actions that they should think about taking this week?
So first 3, I mean, I'm big on the referral system. And if you don't have your list of all of your top past clients, anyone in your network that you can reach out to, first of all, you need to make that list. If you do have that list, now is the time to refresh that list. Did somebody give you a referral last year? Put them to the top of the list. These are the people that you really want to target your efforts at because we want to work smarter, not harder. And now is the time to do it. Now is the time to start reaching out to everyone. New year, new market, bring some optimism. Anyone that you have kept on ice who wasn't quite ready to purchase or sell last year, now is the time, hopefully, that you can just go hit it hard one day, reach out to everybody. That's number 1. It's go time. We've had the lowest rates we've seen, and they've kind of been waffling around 6.1 the last couple of weeks, but these are the lowest rates we've seen in 3 years. 3 years. That is a great talking point just to go out to everyone. I've got painters, I've got contractors, I've got, of course, buyers and sellers. I've got friends. They just want to know what's going on because housing is an essential need. And if you position yourself as that expert by being proactive, then you're going to see the results with those clients coming in to use you for your services. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you are trying to get your marketing together for the new year, really, really recommend, make sure to do a brand audit. Figure out what is your brand? Who are you? Who are your clients? What do you want to represent? We have amazing AI tools now that can help you do this in less than an hour. And then you can build a brand that is cohesive, that shows everybody who you are, that messages the same with everything you do. I've got some brand pieces here, and everything
Very nice.
I do.
Very sleek.
very sleek. We've got the colors, we've got my branding, here's a mailer, we've got all that. You've got to stay consistent. And if you are trying to level up this year, now, early in the year is the time to make those changes, get everything streamlined, choose your fonts, choose your colors, choose your headshot you're going to be consistent with, change everything, get your tagline together, and make sure you use the same throughout the year. Same with social media. Be consistent with that messaging. That is the best use of time now that you can to set your year up for success, because as we get into spring, as we all know, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. We're not going to have time to think about marketing. We're going to need to press a button and have somebody make this stuff for us, or however your marketing team works,
Absolutely.
So if you prep now, you're setting yourself up for a really successful year. And then third, last but not least, self-care. It's been a rough year. 2025, man, I felt like it was a fight every single deal. I had a great year and I am grateful for it, but it is because of my referral system that I was able to close deals last year in one of the most stagnated markets that I've ever experienced. And so, you need to do the things now to set yourself up both mentally and health-wise for success. I am a big proponent of, eating healthy, working out. You need to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people, getting the sleep you need. You got those crazies out there, so you got to keep the mental health stable, because I don't know about y'all, but people come out of the woodwork when politics are off the rails, and you need to make sure your business is on, solid. Yourself is solid. So whatever that may be, spa days or getting your routine back in order, figuring out what you're going to eat, meal prepping, whatever that is for you. Maybe now is the time to do a little goal setting, prepping for the year, setting up yourself for success, and bringing some optimism in so that you are fresh going into this market before things get too crazy and we get burnt out.
And this is the time where people are starting to get ready, right? This is the time we're going out on listing appointments. Hopefully we're setting appointments with our buyers. We're catching the early stages of the spring market. So this is the time, like you said, to be on top of things and prepare for what's coming. Just an aside, I hired a new assistant this year, and she's getting her first take of the spring market, or first taste of the spring market, I should say. And she is just floored by the level of hours that go into everything and preparing for that right now. And so I want to know, since you are preparing, what lead gen sources are you doubling down on this year, and why is that?
So, first and foremost is my network. Again, I'm a Buffini girl. I really appreciate the value in the referral system. And I find that referral clients are better clients. They've already been told you're awesome. You're walking in to a good situation. They're optimistic. Or if they're crazy, you might have gotten a warning already. And so you know what you're walking into versus, online leads or doing a farming campaign. But really, if I have to choose my top three of where I'm getting my leads, one is going to be that referral. I do 6 to 8 pop buys a year. I don't like to do them every month. I find that to be a little bit too much. But, Valentine's Day is coming. You better believe my top 50 clients are going to get some candy from me with a cute little note, just top of mind as we go into the spring market. Hey, anyone trying to buy or sell? My clients are the, heart of my business, whatever, fun, kitschy thing that makes sense for you, do it. And do I spend the time to deliver them? Yeah, it takes a couple hours. But again, if you've prepped your list already in January leading up to February, you got the list ready, you could put it into one of a route organizer online. AI can do that for you. Go off, hit them real quick, get to be that front of mind. Nobody hates gifts. And if you do it right, if you drop and go. I'll knock on the door. I don't try to have a convo. I drop it off. If it's somebody I know might have a lead or something, I'll take a quick pic, text them real quick, on to the next, right? So we get those done quicker, but you still have the thoughtfulness. You still have that emotional tie to your clients that does make them think, you know what, I love my experience with Olyvia. I am going to recommend her. Or I saw a moving van at my neighbor's house. You might want to check that out, right? So that's number one. That's low hanging fruit, y'all. You don't have to spend very much money to do that. And there are so many Popeye ideas. If you're starting out right now, there are several you can make for like maybe $1 each, and if you've got plenty of time, this is something that you can do with your time that will result in leads. And if you don't have a lot of clients, let's say you don't have a list of 50 yet, well, who do you know? Who are contractors you've worked with? Who are home inspectors? Who are painters? People in your network that may come into contact with people looking to sell or buy. We'll put them on your list. Start there. So second, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the thing that always strikes me about you is just how systematic and how consistent you are. Because in real estate, we always talk about, like, there is no magic bullet, right? Whatever you're going to do it consistently. And you are like the queen of consistency, is what I'm gathering from your business.
I am. And for the last several years through my business, I've tried everything. I've tried mailers. I've tried online lead gen. I've tried Zillow leads. I've tried it all, but I've given it a trial period. And you need to track your numbers, y'all. Like, how do you know? One, how do you know if you're going to get good feedback if you're not really tracking if it's working, right? And so, if you see that you're getting leads, that makes you feel better about spending that money on these leads, or you can then really focus on what gets you leads. Cut out all the rest. You don't need to do 15 different things. Do 2 things really, really well.
And like you said, like, sometimes you need to audit your business before the year starts, right? And find out where that maximum ROI is coming from. Because if you don't know your numbers and you don't know where these leads are coming from, then how are you going to go about having your best year ever, right? Yeah. And making improvements year over year. And so you're big on structure, Olyvia, and I want to ask you, because I know this about you, you're an early riser. So I want to talk about how you are structuring your days and weeks to stay consistent with income producing activities.
It is, I'm not gonna lie, it's a struggle, y'all. I'm not naturally an early riser. Like, if I had my way, I'd wake up around 11, kind of start the day kind of late, stay up till 1 or 2 a.m. Not really what my body wants. However, with how crazy real estate is and how much feedback and texts and calls and stuff we get as our day goes on, I think it's really important to start your day off strong. So I really love this book. It's called 5 a.m. Club. Highly recommend it. I read it. It really changed my perception in how to structure my mornings. And, not gonna lie, with all the ice and snow we've had, I've been sleeping in, but this is where we're getting back into it. I call myself a train. It takes me a minute to get going, but when I'm going, I'm unstoppable. And so, if you wake up early, and for me, I try to make that between 5 and 6 a.m. I have a dog. We have a routine. I have a routine. We are creatures of habit, and we're more efficient, and we are more likely to, I guess, be optimistic with what we're doing if we've got a plan. And so, when I wake up early, I get so significantly more done. And I feel good, and I'm like on it. I'm ready to negotiate for my clients, and I can also receive any craziness that happens throughout the day. But yeah, so, I like to structure my morning, wake up early, we're exercising, we're walking the dog, we're getting some good food in you. Like, if you're like me, I forget to eat a lot because we're just out and we're doing crazy stuff. Unless I've refilled my purse snacks, like, I'm not going to be eating. So that's just me. So if I have a good start to my morning, that creates the foundation for the day, and I know it's boring. This is boring. This is boring, basic stuff. However, if you get ahead, if you get all your responses back out, if you get all your paperwork done before the other agents are awake, before the title company's open, before your clients are sitting at their desks and starting to Zillow search and look at stuff and bother you, then you've set your day up for great success. Because by the time those things that you don't have control over start to come in, you're already good. You've already gotten the urgent stuff out of the way. And so that's really why I'm a proponent for starting early. And, I like to be at my desk by 6 or at the latest 7 a.m. I have a good 2-3 hours of desk time, get the listings up, get the paperwork done, respond to anyone who's come in overnight, and for me too, this is about mental health. You need to have boundaries with your clients. And if you set those boundaries, they're going to work within them. And there's a way to set those boundaries that makes it easier for you then to optimize your workflow. I don't answer my phone after 9 p.m. I just don't do it. A lot of times I'm asleep, not gonna lie, I'm early sleeper now, but there's nothing that you can do at 9 a.m. unless you've got the one-off random deadline at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday for an offer and it's a multiple offer situation. Unless it's that, I don't really see any reason to respond that couldn't be done at 6 a.m. the next morning.
That's a great answer, because so much of what we do we think is life and death, and it's not. There's stuff that's acutely important, and then there's the rest of the stuff, right? And like you said, it can wait till the next morning. So I got to know, what is a go-to purse snack for you? Because immediately I had to ask this question.
Hell yeah, I love jerky. I like protein.
Okay, all right. I didn't know if it'd be like a banana or some, I don't know, pudding. I don't know. Yeah.
If I'm on the run, grab an apple, easy to go. Always have, I'm a fancy person. I've got my bubbly waters.
Yeah, I am guilty like you. I tend to not eat until about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I just gorge myself on whatever it is in the car, which is probably not a healthy habit, but it is a habit.
Yeah. Gotta look good for these listing videos, unfortunately. But
well, you're no stranger to being on video, and and that's because what you've done in your short career has been pretty spectacular, and people want to talk to you about it. And you're coming off another spectacular year, even though last year was a bit of a slog. You still had a fantastic year. So I want to know, what specific habits do you believe contributed most to your impressive production at this stage in your career?
So I will say, you need to have a target area. If you don't have a target area, or you can have 2 or 3 if you want. But one of the other lead gen things that I do is I have a very dedicated target neighborhood. It's about 3,000 homes. It's a beautiful gated community. I grew up there. My family lives there. I know a lot there. I sell about 20, 30 homes there a year now. But when I got into real estate, I took a look, first year of real estate, I knew that was going to be my target neighborhood. I knew every single agent. I knew every single person who was selling in that neighborhood. I knew their pain points. I knew the stats. I just got on the MLS, y'all, and got geeky with it. You need to know that to then become the expert. And when people see you're the expert, they recommend you. That's how it goes. So first of all, become the expert of that one farm. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, anytime you have a listing, that is a huge marketing opportunity. I send just listed and sold mailers for every single house I sell. And my marketing will, I can have them put together something nice, and then they'll send a radius list to the neighborhood. And it really is only 30 seconds of my time to tell them which picture I want and what I want the message to say. And now I've got templates, so it's even quicker. And so once you've got that built, which is a good time to build that kind of stuff right now, this is kind of an example. This is what I have. Most of them look like this: front picture, a couple inside pictures.
Looks great.
You got me. And then this is really where the message is, don't settle for less, go with the proven best, and I got a little QR code so they can check me out.
And you have the nice big postcard there. I always opt for the bigger the better. You got the QR code on there. It looks fantastic. So for people that are just listening, they know what they're seeing right now.
Right. And the least barrier to entry. That's what we're looking for here. And a lot of my clientele is retirees. This is a great retiree demographic for our gated communities. And I'm not gonna lie, even me, I gotta wear glasses now to drive. So like you gotta make this print big, y'all. They need to read it or they're gonna throw it in the trash. And so, but that is an easy opportunity. And so in your marketing budget, you really need to just plan that as an expense. And you can't do it once. You got to do it regularly. It's going to take 6 to 8 months to see a reaction from this. But now I've been doing this for 7 years. And it's just a part of every listing I take. That's a part of the budget that I know I'm going to have to market that property. I've gotten sign calls off these. I've gotten people who've put them in a drawer who've called me 3 years later. I've gotten people whose relatives unfortunately passed and they're trying to sell the house and I'm just the first realtor on the pile, right? So that's the kind of stuff you can do with direct mail marketing. And I mean, when you have an asset like a listing, you need to use that. So that consistency on that is, to me, another big like low hanging fruit.
And listings get you listings that get you listings that get you listings. It's self-perpetuating, right? Yeah.
So list the last, and that's how you do it.
Yeah. And so
sell it as a buyer. You can take your own pictures as a buyer and send these.
Yeah, and like we talk about, like if you're in the business long enough, you tend to shift away from maybe buyers earlier in your career to listings. And so in my career right now, I'm about 70% listings, I would say, 30% buyers. I don't know how you, yeah. Are you 50-50? Okay.
Because I do a lot of the first-time home buyer demographic. I have a lot of really great, again, referral leads, people coming into this area. We have a lot of big employers hiring a lot right now. And so, I try to get in front of those. But, the last thing I would say for any agent, maybe you're refreshing your business or you're starting out, you need to get involved. I think one of the best things I did for my career was I joined the Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of like 70 agents though on the Chamber of Commerce, but it doesn't matter because I'm there. I'm showing up, I'm networking at these events, which are literally built for networking. And I've now got a big event that is my client event that coincides with one of the Chamber's biggest events, which is the Hallmark-esque like Christmas parade party that we do every single year, first weekend of December. I mean, I'm talking like 130 floats, like at night, Santa's on a semi truck with 12 reindeer, like it's huge in my tiny little town. Well, I guarantee you that exists in your market too. And if you find out how to get involved, like we are here to build the community. You need to be involved with that community to build your business, support local, meet people. Obviously, a lot of what we do is about our personality. Use it. Find out what niches you fit into and go out there and be. People are going to want to know you because you're good at your job. And if you're the best realtor you can be and you're trying to help out community, it's just going to happen for you.
Yeah, if your brand is known in the community the way that you're known in the community, people give you the benefit of the doubt, right? They want to know people that they know, like, and trust that they're going to work with. And again, your name is out there saturating the community. And we talk about, like, with the Chamber, you've even gotten, I think, some radio time out of it, I believe. Yeah.
When I joined the Chamber, this is just an agreement they have with the local radio station. The Chamber of Commerce for here offers you, when you join, a radio spot at the local radio station. So I went and I did my little radio interview and explained what my business was and why I joined the Chamber. It was like 5 minutes. But that created a relationship, and they didn't have anyone speaking about real estate anymore on like the radio network at all. And, I was just like, well, that's interesting. I mean, like, could we do like a little segment? It could air each week. Well, I'm now 11:30 every single Thursday, and I've gotten probably 3 solid listings from that. It's been going on for a year, and it is a paid position, but $500 a month to be out there, and they'll run ads for you, like 30 to 50 ads, 30-second ads a month. That's huge. So hearing my voice, what I'm trying to do is saturate the market. Olyvia Salyer, realtor. You have to connect the two. And once they're connected, anytime my name comes up, guess what they're going to think? Realtor. realtor. Somebody needs to sell or buy, realtor. I know a realtor, Olyvia. You want to be the first thing that pops into people's minds. And so doing these kind of things, again, like I've taken the stats, I've seen what has actually come back around. And for my market, these are the things that work, but it's really fun. It's like this, like it's fun to go and just be like, hey, here's what's going on. We have a casual conversation. Sometimes I record it for my Instagram. But I mean, I can't tell you the number of people who are like, hey, I was at like the tire store and I heard you on the radio in the background. I was like, well, that's weird, but okay.
Well, you can't,
yeah,
it's worth its weight in gold, right? You can't imagine the impact that has for someone's business to be able to, like you said, it's kind of low cost, high reward, right? You're out there. And for that kind of spotlight on you, especially someone getting their tires changed, right? You said that you want people, when the first thing that they think of is realtor, they think of Olyvia Salyer. And that's what you want in your community. And it's no wonder, that your business continues to grow. So as you grow, what I want to know is what specific systems or tools are helping you to stay organized and efficient as your volume grows in your business.
Well, so I am guilty of being a little bit of a control freak. And so I think it's time for me to probably get an assistant, but I do not have an assistant yet. I do have, I'd call her my ride or die. Her name's Jen. She helps me do like the fun stuff like Popeyes, staging, client events, things like that. But, I think it's time for me to start looking into a full-time assistant who can help with real estate related stuff as well. But for now, the way that I have built my systems is heavily reliant on AI. And so when AI really started to become prevalent about a year or two ago, I really leaned in. And I'm good friends with Rajiv, who sadly just left us.
Left us. Yeah, listen, I love Rajiv. I've known him for several years. He's one of the best of the best of the best, and we wish him the best at Bright.
Technology and AI at Bright. And so we're going to see some awesome stuff coming out of them soon, I'm sure, with his collaboration. But I, really leaned into his teachings, was on his podcast as well. And I just, like when we're driving in the car, I listen into all of these things and I learn new ways to optimize. My biggest thing is, how can I be more efficient? We all have only a set number of days or hours in the day. And if I'm pulled away, for negotiations, then all of these things fall apart. Like I can't get my marketing out. And so waking up early really helps because again, you are getting all of those things done and out of your brain, out of your system before the fires start happening. Two, you need to create these templates and these easily pull-upable systems. So like all of my marketing has a template. I heavily use Canva for all my social media quick posts and, quickly edit it, throw it up on Instagram. You can also schedule. So like if you are early in the morning, you can schedule things so it goes out on socials throughout the day. You can schedule emails and now you can schedule texts. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those things I do in advance and then they pepper out whenever I'm trying, I need the reminder or whatever it may be. I also use an inbox tool. So like my inbox is like my to-do list. And the goal is to get to inbox 0 every day or to like punt it off to another day for whatever it is. But I use a tool called Active Inbox and I've had it on my inbox forever. I've got one Gmail that like brings in all 6 of my emails and tags them. And, of course I've spent some time to set this up, but then, an email will come in, like I could tell it's from my website versus from like my Instagram versus from wherever. And I can put dates on these emails that then pop up when it's relevant. So maybe I've replied, maybe it's a home inspection thing and I need to follow up in 2 days. Well, I reply out of brain, 2 days later, pops back up. I'll reply again. So it's getting these things out of my brain onto, a day where I can take stock, respond, whatever it is. There are some apps that do this. A lot of people use Follow Up Boss. There's a new one called Cloze, Cloze.
I've heard of Cloze.
And I'm starting to look into that. A lot of them do the same things. And so what you really need to do is find a system that works for you and just use it. There are probably 4 or 5 that do the same thing. What do you need? find it. And you can even Google on AI, or I guess search on AI, like, hey, I need a thing that does this. It'll give you the top 3. And so I use kind of an amalgamation of all of these little tools. But with Close or Follow Up Boss, you can do all these things I just described. Reminders, emails, things like that. It'll remind you to follow up with somebody. You need to also be realistic about what are your weaknesses. Where do you suck in this business, right? Like I hate listing contracts. Hate them. Hate doing it. Hate checking off all the stupid little boxes. I hate doing that for the MLS. So my transaction coordinator does every single listing contract, and all I have to do is review for accuracy. Way faster. I could just text her to the address, make sure the last name is correct, go for it, get it prepped. That saves me so much time, right? Because especially with listings, like the paper, what takes you the most time? Find something to optimize it. That's what I would recommend you focus on.
Well, it's income producing activities, right, that we should be focused on. And I just got to say, because I know you have a transaction coordinator, but you don't have an assistant doing the business that you have, which speaks to me that you better be super organized, or else you're just never going to have enough hours in the day to get done what you get done on a daily basis.
Right. Well, and that's too, I'm not an anxious person, but I'll wake up at 2 a.m. like, shit, I didn't do that. And, and I'll be like, you can't, and I can't be having that, because real estate will pull you in all of the directions if you let it.
Absolutely.
And so getting organized. And I mean, like, you don't even have to pay for these systems yet. You can do this stuff in a spreadsheet. I hate to say it, my hot leads spreadsheet, that's just like anytime I talk to somebody, it goes in the spreadsheet. It's not super pretty, but it's efficient. And I have a standing date at the end of every single month to look at the spreadsheet. And I just got to do it. I just got to spend an hour, look at that spreadsheet, make sure I'm not missing anyone who's a hot lead.
Yep. I just have a Google Doc that I just put everybody on. I look at it every single day, try and match people up with new listings that are coming on, or maybe I haven't reached out to a person that, I actually color code my list, which is really super nerdy if you want to get really into it. So green is a hot lead, yellow we're kind of putting on the back burner, red they've kind of fallen off the map and I need to circle back with them. So whatever gets the job done for you is obviously what you need to do in your business. The way that you do it may be different than another way somebody goes about it, but obviously it works for you.
Yeah. I often say to myself, and this is something I got from Zig Ziglar, one of his, if you're familiar, I love him.
My mother would love you, by the way. She grew up on Zig Ziglar in the 80s. I
love it.
I listened to all the cassettes of Zig Ziglar in the car when I was like 10 years old. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Long drive. Let's put on some Zig. Love it. But I love the sayings. They're easy to remember. And it's easy, when you get overwhelmed, it's easy to like shut down, or like, where do I even go? Like, what do I need to do next? Right. I say, what's important now? Win the day, WIN. What's important now? What's the most important thing I need to do today to make this money? Right? I think it's probably like negotiate the home inspection, or reply to that person, or accept the listing agreement, whatever that is, obviously. So then you have your tiers. What's next important? Just listed something. Let's get the marketing out, because that's going to continue the business. The agents there are thousands of agents who are really good at this, but they aren't being proactive or looking ahead long term. That's why they're not growing. So you need to be spending your time, one, keeping the current business great. That's what the assistant and transaction coordinator do. But you should be spending like 50% of your time on lead gen and marketing and making sure you're out there. I have now leaned into social. And so a lot of what I do is the social media. It's a full-time job to make sure you've posted correctly and you've optimized that. And like, I'm starting to get into YouTube too, which is a whole nother thing versus Instagram. And every single one has different rules that also change every time they change the algorithm. And so I would urge you, if you are thinking about social, you need to lean fully in or don't. If there's no middle ground, you're just going to look sad. And so, if you're going to spend that time, you need to do it, right? Do it, spend the money for videography. But if you're not quite there yet, everything you need is here. there are amazing apps like CapCut that will cut videos for you. AI will give you video scripts. I mean, watch Jimmy Burgess, watch, I like Tom Ferry as well. He's got a lot of good people on his team that talk about video. Watch them, copy them. Again, not rocket science, and better to be done than perfect.
Well, R&D, right? Rip off and
R&D,
duplicate,
rip off.
And
I've done it multiple times.
yeah, I think we all do. I mean, we see some great ideas online, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel with anything. And like you had mentioned, you mentioned Tom Ferry. I'll say KCM's out there. If you want Keeping Current Matters, they'll give you scripts that you can actually use reading into a teleprompter. You can have an app that's a teleprompter. It's super easy. But like you said, I mean, real estate is really two buckets, right? One is actually doing the work, and the other is marketing to be able to get to do the work. And so it's how are you going about approaching those two buckets? So being that you are the local market expert, you do a lot within your community. How are you positioning yourself as the local expert in 2026? Are you doing anything different this year that maybe you haven't done in the past?
So this year, I have my one farm neighborhood that we talked about earlier. I do send these mailers every time I get a listing there, but this year I did an experiment on a mailer once a couple years ago, and it was a note. It was a note that I wrote, and it was basically like, the way we sell real estate has changed. The digital world has changed the marketing for real estate. And this was kind of a target in my local area because we do have so many retirees. We do have so many agents who are literally twice my age. And, I know what I can offer that they can't. And that is analytics, that's stats, that's smart marketing, that's digital marketing, and, just being able to be very quick and reactive because of all of these wonderful programs we have online. And so I was really targeting that and, put into context, like why it's changed, why I'm the best, what I've sold. And so simple letter on letterhead, I hand signed it for all. And again, this is a 3,000 house neighborhood. So that time, hand signed it, and we made a beautiful flyer. I'll have to try to actually give me 1 second. I have it right here. Beautiful flyer.
I was just going to say, yeah, go ahead.
So this is my flyer for this neighborhood.
Okay.
Everything I've sold in the neighborhood. So immediately, you don't even have to read it. You're like, damn.
Yeah,
okay.
She's done a lot. Exactly.
Got a powerful headshot. Yep. What's the message?
I do like your Superman pose on the front. That's the power pose that we all use, right? Well,
apparently, I do that a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Hands on hips. So I just want to mention a couple things about this flyer. Like, you have your stats on the back there. This is incredibly powerful. Yeah, I'm
now the expert. Yep. This is why I'm the expert. This is, the average median's listing price per square foot and what it sold, the difference. Look, it's $10 different. So anyone thinking about it, like, oh, I need to talk to this girl, look at this difference. It's $10,000 difference between the list price and sell price in this neighborhood. How are we going to counteract that? Good marketing, right?
Well, everybody loves a winner, right? And so if you can show what you're doing in this business and getting results, people want to be a part of that. And again, it's just letting you grow organically within that neighborhood by leaning into what your strengths are. It's just very impressive what you're putting out there. And not only that, but you're putting out marketing pieces that look very good too. They're not chintzy. And they think,
oh, my house is going to look this good too. Yeah,
exactly. It speaks to the level of professionalism that you're offering. So,
it's easy because I got my colors, colors. It was very easy to put together because I already have my templates.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So, okay. So what do you personally do to stay motivated and disciplined? We talked about 2025 being kind of a rough year. It was kind of a slog, right? We all worked our way through it. But what do you do to stay motivated and disciplined, especially when the business feels slower?
Man, this one's hard. And I've been talking to several agents. I was supposed to go to a mastermind in Laguna Beach, and I got literally stuck here thanks to that snowstorm. And, from that, I had a lot of conversations with some agents about like being motivated for the year. I was really hoping that would give me some energy, right? But at the end of the day, you cannot take energy from external sources because it will eventually either dry up or won't be motivating anymore. So it's two-pronged. By having systems, by having a regular, what you do every day, that will help you get through it when it's real tough. And, by setting up your morning, by having these spreadsheets, it makes it easier for you to go ahead and just do it. I mean, by the way, best slogan ever, just do it. I mean, you don't just start. If you're having a bad day, I don't care. Just start doing something and you'll slowly find 3 hours later, you're done. Okay. Right. It's tough out there. It's very polarizing with politics. I don't care where you lean. I don't, it doesn't matter to me, but my area is very purple. And so I have to be very aware that political factors can affect the market. And man, some of them can be really difficult, or some of them can be very triggering because of the issues that are in the world right now and in politics right now and the difficulties that we're experiencing. But that to me is a huge downer. It can create a negative pressure on the market. It can make it harder for a buyer who is like on the cusp of being able to buy to be able to go ahead and pull the trigger. And that's part of the reason I think we were so stagnant last year. And so personally, you got to take some time and get off of this. Okay.
That is such great advice. I am so guilty of that. Yeah.
Well, and I'm guilty, doom scroll all the time. In order to be on social media, you must engage with social media, it sucks because I hate it. And you find yourself like scrolling through all this stuff, and like the messaging will change based on your search history of whatever you're looking for, right? Or, whatever is prevalent in the world right now. And so you could be served this stuff that has no purpose. But I really am a strong believer of you are what you consume. So not just eat health-wise, but consume. And so, I really try an hour or two, and I'm still getting back into it. Haven't quite gotten there this year, but hour or two a day off of it. Turn off the phone, stay away from the phone. And in my morning routine, I do not look at this. I do not look at this until after I've had coffee, until after I've walked my dog and had that nice morning, because that really sets me up to be in the mental frame of being able to like take that, if you look, my background's psychology, and so that was what my degree is in. And if you look at the psychology of apps and like how they've designed these phones, and especially all of the social media, it's designed to keep you there. It's designed to keep you scrolling, clicking. All of these headlines, they're clickbait for a reason. I worked in media in New York City where we would have brainstorming of what would get the most clicks, and now they just have AI and data to change it to make you click on it. So like you need to remember that, and you need to take a break from it in order to like use your brain, like think again. You need to not be fed. You need to think.
Well, and I think that's a great point. That much of what we do is a necessary evil on social media. And so one thing that I've done, at least to cut down my time, kind of like you said, doom scrolling or trying to even get real estate ideas and seeing what's out there real estate wise on social media, I've taken all my social media apps and moved them to the very back of my phone. So I don't spend as much time doing that. And like you said, I do try in the mornings now to not look at my phone for at least, say, the first hour that I'm up. I'm up doing different things. I'm a huge fan of James Clear and Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits, it's great.
It's such a great book, and if you read the science behind it, it totally makes sense, and the habit stacking that you can do every morning when you get up. So I try and do some of my good habits when I wake up in the morning and lead into the day, because mindset is such a huge thing of what we work on, right? And treating your business like a business.
changes with how you're feeling that day. It really does. And you need to recognize that in order to counteract it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So you're giving us advice. All right. And this is to every agent out there, but I want to know specifically what advice you would give agents that want to increase their transaction count this year. How do they go about doing more than they've ever done in their career?
So you need to set goals. Number one, you need to sit down. You need to figure out what your goals are. If you are brand new, set the goals that you think are reasonable for what you think you can do. Maybe your managing broker can help you set them, but you need to actually write them down. And then you need to put them somewhere where you work so you see them. I have a goal board behind me. I have a place where I keep in mind, oh yeah, I do want to go on that Italy trip. I guess I'll make 2 more calls today. You need to keep that front of mind. So when you set goals and you're intentional about it, you are constantly reminded of why you're doing this, what you're working towards. And then year over year, like I said, like this past week, I just did all my goal planning for 2026. I looked at last year's goals and I compared notes. I beat every single goal.
That's
and
great.
Can I just tell you how good that feels?
Oh, there's no better feeling. No better feeling.
How much energy that gives me to continue. So, to be able to really push your business, you need to write down what you want to do. That's pretty basic, right? But very few people do it. That's also a very Buffini tactic. And so, I also like some days you need a little motivation. So I've got like a little motivational mood board with cute little sayings and stuff, makes me when I'm having a tough client or if I'm like really, really struggling with some conversations, look over, I read 1 or 2, I readjust my mindset. I readjust why I'm doing this. But, for me, it is all about having a servant's heart. Like I'm here to help. And so seeing those things help me get back into the why. And, Simon Sinek, Find Your Why. If you haven't seen his TED Talk, it is phenomenal. If you need to read his books, recommend. But you just need to be reminded. That's how you grow. And so when you're reminded, you're going to find the energy just to do a little bit more. And that's the mindset you should get in. Okay. Find your point where you hit your wall. Do one more thing. Every day.
The +1. We actually used to have it. I think this was like probably about a decade ago. There was kind of a marketing campaign within our company. It was like +1, right?
+1.
Like what's one more
that,
thing that you're going to do?
One more. And you're going to hit burnout. But I hate to say it, and I try to stay away from burnout, but if by December I am really fucking exhausted, I know I did a good job, but I know that I'm going to have a couple weeks to recover. I know I'm going to have some time to take care of myself before the next market flex. And so I can plan my time, but I'm an all or nothing girl. I give my all, I do my best, and I go to sleep every night knowing that even if I lost the listing, even if I had to fire a client, I did best by me and what my business stands for. And I'm going to find the people who want to work with that. And guess what, y'all? They do.
Exactly. And you're sticking to your values along the way, which I really respect.
Saying no is important.
What's that?
Saying no and having boundaries.
Oh,
and
yeah, absolutely, 100%. And that was one of my biggest struggles as a young agent was I would just say yes to everything. And you run yourself ragged that way. And like you said, you can work at this stage of your career, you can work with who you want to work with. And you can say no to certain things. I wish that I had started that earlier in my career.
Same. I mean, first 4 years were like, I have to take it all. I have to do everything. I don't know what could be good for my business or not, but you do, but you learn by doing. And, I am a big fan of like move fast and break things and then fix them. But if you take this knowledge from both of us now and maybe be a little bit more cognizant of who are you working for? What do these clients really want? Like get off your phone and think about it for a second. Okay, this person has now seen 30 houses with me and has no movement towards. Is this the best place I could be putting this time? Or should I be doing a mailer? Or should I be focusing on some social media? Again, that time allocation is key. in your business.
I think you have clarity upon it. I know a lot of agents don't have the clarity to do that, and that's something that they need to work on in their own business. So I love everything that you're telling me today. You know that I end the podcast as we wind down with kind of an offbeat question now. Now, I think last time I asked you if you, being from Williamsburg, have you ever churned butter, right? That was one thing that I asked you, and I'm not trying to be snide. You actually did churn butter.
I did. I've churned butter one singular time. It's really hard.
Again,
I appreciate butter more now.
I'm going to ask you another historic, colonial Williamsburg question. Do you own a tri-corner hat, number one? And have you ever participated as a Revolutionary War reenactor?
So I do own a tricorn hat.
I knew it.
Two powdered wigs. However, I put them on my skeletons for Halloween.
Oh, okay. All right.
I also do own a colonial full outfit.
Oh my God.
Who also goes on my skeleton.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you a picture.
So no reenacting. It's just.
But I don't reenact it.
Okay.
I have, however, sold houses to the wonderful historic reenactors for Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and Benjamin Franklin.
Okay.
So all of those people who do worked like we call it downtown. In fun story, Thomas Jefferson once left the Declaration of Independence at my house before he had to run over and give it in front of the whole crowd because I had a little party situation for 4th of July before his time was on, and yeah, that was fun to find.
That's pretty funny. Well, I'm sure you have. I was going to say, I'm sure that your whole area revolves around obviously the historic nature of Williamsburg outside of Busch Gardens, which if I ever do come down, you and I we're riding that big bad wolf that we talked about that just reopened. Yeah. So, well, Olyvia, before we get out of here, let people know where they can find you on social media. Where do you prefer people look for you if they're trying to find you?
So social media, Facebook, Instagram are my key. You have been so kind to spell my name. My mom was fancy. My name is spelled with a Y, Olyvia Salyer. And that's just my handle. So you Google me there. You'll find all of my stuff. Reach out anytime. I love connecting. I love building that community. And so, we're a connected world now. And happy to trade ideas anytime.
That's awesome. Well, Olyvia, check out Olivia's Instagram page, by the way. She is a monster. She does great video work. She's got a ton of followers. She's doing it the right way. So if you need some ideas, I'm sure Olyvia doesn't mind if you R&D her Instagram page.
Hey, I approve. Do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Olyvia. I appreciate you doing this. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I'm going to see you at the convention this year, right?
Yes. So I'll be in Nashville. So any Berkshire agents listening, hey, let's find each other, hang out. I will be in silver cowboy boots.
Awesome. All right. Well, you'll be easy to find. So I'm definitely going to find you down there. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Well, that's it for the podcast this week. We will be back in another couple of weeks with a new topic, a new guest, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube. That will be coming shortly. We're going to have our own YouTube channel where you can watch this podcast. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to the podcast or left us a review yet, please do so. It helps us to reach more people. Once again, this is Jason Ostrowski saying stay safe out there, stay selling, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Everything Real Estate Podcast.